the exercise got stalled. So when the exercise got stalled, we, as the constituency executive committee, wrote to National that looking at the chaotic nature of the everything, we want to maintain we gave him proposal. We want to maintain all old polling station members to forestall this, so that this man who is now battling for his life wouldn't have okay. But they didn't know. They formed a new committee. And the new committee came and started installing people of their choice with an armor car, 2 armor cars coming to conduct only 28 polling stations, 2 armor cars coming to conduct 28 polling stations, a bus full of police, 2 PSP police vehicles full of police, all came to make sure that these 28 polling stations were conducted. And it was absurd.
Now, let's still stay within the MPP, because angry MPP youth in the Himan Lower Dencha constituency are warning the Electoral Arbitration Committee of the MPP not to go ahead with the constituency elections if the polls will not be held in all 81 polling stations across the constituency. The youth say they will fight with the last drop of their blood to resist any such attempt. At a news conference at Chufo, Himan spokesperson of the aggrieved MPP youth, Christopher Ampofol, warned the National Party not to exhibit bias in their decision in order for peace to prevail.
Even by the mediation committee's report, this report is out without our knowledge. Region have provided timetable which indicates that there is going to be a constituency elections in Himalaya, which affirms what MPs camp are saying. We are sending a strong warning to Honorable Madam Sisi Adapa and her committee that if she is the one who told MP that only 9 polling station elections are going to be conducted in Himalaya, as Yasantua fought with his life for the Ashanti Kingdom, we, the 900 delegates, will fight with our last blood. If the right things are not done, we are sending a strong warning to Honorable Sisi Adapa. She will kill all of us before the 9 polling station elections are conducted. If Madam Sisi Adapa, as MP, wants to treat our case to compensate her fellow MP, we are telling Madam Sisi Adapa we voted for MP, not her. We will resist any attempt to compensate Honorable Bright Kubrobi, who has lost credibility in Himalaya constituency, but is now seeking his way through mafia. Had not been Odefo's funeral, all the 900 delegates who purchased form to contest have decided to hit on the streets to demonstrate against the party leadership. We will wait till the end of the funeral, and we promise they will hear from us. If such report comes out, we, the leadership of the delegates, can't control the group again, and we don't want, and we will not know how to happen next. We are calling on National that if such 9 polling station or if such report comes out, we will not accept such reports, and we are daring them that if nothing apart from the 81 polling stations are conducted, we will resist, and we will not allow any, and I say, any polling station or any constituency election to be conducted in Himalaya Denchira. We will fight to our last breath. We send this strong warning to them. Thank you.
Now let's take you to the Ashanti region, where a 10-year-old girl and 2 others have undergone surgery after being injured in a church robbery and shooting in the Ashanti region's Atrema Afrancho. According to Pastor Obo Karikari Newton of the Heaven Embassy Chapel, one of the robbers shot into the assembly, injuring the girl in both legs. 4 others were treated and discharged after suffering varied degrees of injury. Nanaya Ojima was back in the community visiting victims and father's report.
On Good Friday, an Easter convention at the Heaven Embassy Chapel was disrupted by 4 armed men who blocked 3 entries to the church auditorium. Over 70 people, mostly indigents of Atwema Afrancho, were held hostage for about 30 minutes as the robbers demanded their personal belongings. Prophet Bernard Apiafobi is one of the preachers invited for the event.
Munum kaniano third wine and a tuyono ekasa ebobana namu na ohweba ne ho na eguguo eho no hona etukoguye etitukoguye sa na akan kwala na ensu anye den yenim ana baako etisima ene opekiska no apeke fonti owo bi mfukuma se no mbampa bo da one ne kunu mebro ye butu ne se bo papa wonye stroke okọ papa na papa wiska we papa ni iska 10 cedi akokora te se wo ba sori a 10 cedi ana wo de ba asori ka papa na to fom ode ne na tieti akokora no so wie na oto akokora 10 cedi esa de bo no.
The church is situated on the outskirts of the community, a part with new buildings under construction. The Easter Convention had brought many to the church for the first time. Mame Ama, a 10-year-old, has undergone a surgical operation to correct the injury on the leg sustained through the shootings. Reverend Obi Newton explains she was shot in both legs.
In the castle, Nankasa Mubri, Emma Bubani Bisa Biwura. Ne sire ni mu epie nti one ne de na very dangerous pa na ehu nkura woni akukudura wontimi nso ni mompagya no na edim ko kan nan ne sensen ho initial ne ekura yadwense bia ye betwa ne nan no because of baby etuo ne ko kan ye no but doctor for ne che so matima ya intwa ne nan.
About 200 meters from the church lives 12-year-old Juliana Amankwa. She sits on a bench, surrounded by family. Just below the knee, a bandage covers the injury sustained from the shooting. Her mother, a farmer, is forced to abandon her daily routine on the farm to cater for the distraught daughter. Abena Konedu, who was also at the church, is traumatized by the incident.
Kameko a form kakra koye jumana kama bibi abana kama na nkwa na biti. And so now so we planning tim ko baby antim wo fie. Dem you say ana ayese wo mo ba nti. Ame ho atoye nyina ayeso.
From the toe to the thigh, 13-year-old Angelina Obin is wrapped in bandage, rendering her immobile. Pellets of bullets were picked from the wound sustained from the shooting. Her grandmother, Margaret Opoku, is traumatized and worried about how to cater for the injured granddaughter.
Mother
of 7, Christiana Ejay sits in front of her room with her in-law Rashida Isaka. Both are victims of the incident. Rashida is 3 months pregnant. She says aside from the injury sustained through the shooting, she feels a sharp pain through her body.
Ana me kwa kwada na metifisi ana bla bi san be da me so ti ase no krampo na ma metogusi ya sanka me nan no krampo de kanya de a krona mu de kanya de ya metimi ato agusu ba ase ni side same na ma metogusu.
Christiana has to put her kenke business on hold to heal her injury on the leg.
Ti no bo me ha na be pie e kira ha sisi e meti hokra e picture kire me say ase de as a nipano, even me shed there, you say no class, omo addressing now, my yarn or mobano.
An amount of 5,000 cedis have gone into medical bills, all paid by the church. But the church may not be able to raise more money to cater for the affected persons. What remains a mystery to many in Atwema Afrancho is why a church of about 2 years, whose members are not that worthy, will be target for armed robbers. It will take police investigations to unravel such a mystery. Meanwhile, Ashima District Police Command is investigating the incident. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima, Kumasi.
Now, the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, James Kluche Aveji, has directed that the management of Bumpurugu Senior High School be sanctioned in accordance with the public procurement law for infractions captured in the 2019 Auditor General's report. Ms. Aveji said this when the school failed to respond satisfactorily to queries made against them when they appeared at the Public Accounts Committee sitting in Tamale. Join News' Northern Regional Correspondent Martina Bugri reports.
The school had been cited for various infractions in the Auditor General 2019 report. The Member of Parliament for the Bawley Bamboy constituency, Yusuf Suleimana, had questioned how the school management procured items without quotation to the tune of 16,005 Ghana cedis. Responding to the query, accountant of the school, Alhassan Sandashani, said at the time of the audit, the quotations were not in the file, but added that they were able to make them available for the auditors.
Yes, at the time of the audit, mostly we filed authentic quotations in a file. So when they came, they were not in the batch. So they asked us to produce them, so it was produced.
My brother, you are speaking on both.
Yes, please.
What you are telling me is that at the time they came to do the audits, yes, these alternative documents were there.
Yes, sir.
And that we didn't file them. I mean, you filed them, and so you could not produce them.
No, we could not produce them. We didn't attach them to the various.
Yes, so if you didn't attach them and they were there, they engaged you. Did you at a point produce these documents to them?
Yes, sir.
And you still captured in this audit report?
I was surprised when they captured it, sir.
But the Member of Parliament for Commander Samuel Atta-Mills intervened and asked the auditors who were also at the sitting if the said documents were provided. Following the response from the auditors, Mr. Samuel Atta-Mills questioned why Alhassan Sandashani had lied before the committee.
You said we had all the paperwork before the auditors came, but you were surprised that they showed in this report. Do you stand by that statement?
It was an omission, sir.
Do you stand by that statement that they had all the paperwork ready?
No,
No, Honorable Sir. So will you withdraw that statement? Because you sworn oath,
yes, sir,
to tell the truth. So how will you come and sit here and tell us something that is not true?
Withdraw, sir, Honorable.
And you apologize to the committee?
I apologize.
You see, you are supposed to know your job.
Thank you, sir.
This is not the place that we are coming to get documents. You come and sit in front of a committee of a parliament and you tell us you had all your documents ready. What do you mean, Ahmed? That is perjury. That is perjury.
The chairman of the committee, James Kluche Aveji, intervened and prompted the clerk to take note of sanctions the committee was recommending against the school.
Honorable, we brought them after we had selected one to do the activity. When we were preparing the voucher, I forgot to add it to that one, and they were still in the file.
If you don't comply, and you said it's an omission, you have forgotten, then you blame your brain for letting you forget what you're supposed to do. We told you the last time we were here last year that from 2018 we'll begin to apply the law, and we're beginning with Bumpurugu. So clerk, take notes. The recommendation is that the management of the school should be sanctioned in accordance with the public procurement law as amended.
Mr. Aveji said he believes with sanctions meted to the latter, it will help reduce these infractions.
It is because that we have not prescribed or we have not applied the law fully. So the thing that they will usually come and come back the following year, it happened again. So if we recommend and this is taken, I'm sure that in future it will reduce the infractions drastically.
Now, so what is happening at Apiate now? We are told that the new site earmarked for the resettlement of the victims of the explosion there is nearing completion. As of this morning, roofing of the various shelters had reached an advanced stage. This is to help move the victims from their current temporary camp close to Apiate. The resettlement is under the supervision of the Prisiahoni Valley Municipal Assembly, and the MC for the area, Isaac Dasmani, joins us live with some updates. Good afternoon to you, Dr. Isaac Dasmani, and thanks so much for your time. Now, how many structures are being put up and for how many people?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me take the opportunity to express my gratitude. You're still listening. Right now, we are working on 32 of the structures. And then the structure now comprises with 3 rooms, 4 rooms, and then in that order. And as I speak to you, roofing is far at advanced stage. The level is roughly about 9 rooms for us to complete all the 32 rooms. And then we have finished the doors that we are going to use, and then the frames that we are going to fix. And then the carpenters, I speak to you this morning, the carpenters have started working on the frames, and then making sure that at least by the close of the month, because we're giving ourselves as the first May, we should be able to move all of them temporarily, because it's a temporary structure. I mean, so once we move it, and then we'll fix some basic, things that will let them move in, because the rain has set in and it's creating a lot of problems for us. So we are working so seriously with the minister, and then the minister is also, we are in touch this morning, we had a chat. We are working to ensure that we get it done, and then by the close of the month, of all of them, whilst we'll concentrate on the actual construction of their new Apiate.
Well, so how many people or households are we looking at moving into this new 32 structures that you are completing?
Yes, for now, the statistics that we have started taking a new data, because once it happens, some of them had their new apartment, there's a new site, they have moved out of the place. So the people that currently we are looking at are about 110 households that we are looking at. And then the rooms that are available now that we are also working on, they are about 120. So we are still having some rooms that if anybody comes out, we still have some. So we are going to house those who are at the camp there right now, and then probably when we finish, we take out the 10. And then we'll continue working on the temporary structures when some families come and then they want to be there.
Is there a deadline for this roofing?
They are working on it. So we just want to complete everything by the end of the month. So as I speak to you, maybe by the close of this week, they'll finish the roof. They're in love with the fixing, because the carpenter, they are on site as I speak to you. I have the area photograph and everything that I can even send it over to you for you to have look at it and what they have reached. So we are working seriously on it, and then making sure that by the close of the week, because we have 2 companies who are on site right now, Pasco and then the DBS, they are on site as I speak to you right now. So they are working seriously to finish all the roofing, and then we'll think about fixing the doors and then the frames and then the loser blade by next week, and then at the close of next week we should get it.
So I assume by end of this month, then these families will be moving into these structures, right?
Yes. We are planning. Our plan is the 1st May, the holiday, the 1st May. The holiday that we plan moving all of them.
Okay, excellent. Once we have you, what is the update on the actual reconstruction of the village itself, the community, actually, if I should put it?
Yes, but I think that's when the chairman is there, so politely, I'll be glad if you could call the chairman for the reconstruction team, and then he will give you that.
But once you are the MC of the area, if you can just give us an update of what's happening.
Yes, because the grounds work, they finished the grounds work, and a lot of things have done, the structural work, and even the minister will be here tomorrow to meet. The Sancred, those buildings that were, are still standing. The minister will be meeting the owners tomorrow at the site here, and then we'll see those that we can repair, and those were completely damaged too. I know, because we have molded about close to about 70,000 blocks on site now. So there are a lot of things going on there. So I know the coming month, the actual reconstruction will start.
All right, Doc, thank you so much for your time here. We're grateful for joining us. That's Dr. Isaac Dasmani, who is the MC for the Pristia-Huni Valley municipality. Moving on to other stories. Watermelon farmers in the northeast region have been assured that the watermelon factory under the government's One District, One Factory initiative will be commissioned in the coming month and will be operationalized so that the factory will serve them. Now, we're told the operationalization was to have come off in 2020, but it was deferred. Authorities say that was due to procurement challenges. But speaking to Joy News, MC for Wale Wale, Aremia Osomo Lucky says the factory setup is now at its final stage of completion. According to him, the project's private partner has given all indications that the factory will begin serving its purpose before the end of the year. There's more in the following report.
Construction of the Wale Wale watermelon factory in the West Mamprosi municipality of the Northeast region commenced in 2019 as part of the government effort to reduce rural-urban migration and revitalize the country's industrial base. The factory project is under the One District, One Factory initiative in partnership with Champion Foods and Beverages Limited, a wholly Ghanaian-owned beverage manufacturing, distribution and marketing company. It is being funded by the Exim Bank and scheduled for completion by the end of 2020. However, procurement challenges, according to authorities, caused the extension of the completion period to March this year. Speaking to Joy News, the Chief Project Supervisor and MC for the area, Aremia Osomolaki, stated that all bottlenecks have been cleared to give way for the factory to start operations in the coming months.
No, it was on 16th December 2019 that the sword was cut, and it was supposed to finish in the middle of 2021. You understand? But you know, when that happened, there were some challenges with regards to the support to that particular project because documentation and other things delayed. It was not that the eczema do not have the money, but documentation and other things delayed. And that is why, if you look at it, it stopped for some time and later on it picked up. But the good news is that the project had been completed, machinery have been brought. It is now left with the operationalization.
The precise location of the project is at Logre along the Wale Wale Tamale Road. Inside the facility, several types of equipment are littered around. We also observe new structures still being constructed. The MCE says although the project was delayed, it hasn't been abandoned, and that the people are grateful to the government for fulfilling most of its campaign promises made to them.
But we thank the government for thinking through and by giving us the watermelon factory. I must indicate the entire country, West Mamprosi is the leading producers of watermelon in the entire country. It means that the government actually understands its people and what the people need. That is why they brought it. So even if it delays and start at any time, it's still a very good venture. But we wanted to commission this year.
The project is expected to create more than 300 direct employment and provide a ready market for between 2,000 and 3,000 peasant farmers. The completion of the project would also bring an end to the seasonal ritual of post-harvest losses, a phenomenon that has affected and continued to affect farmers and their communities.
But all things being equal, we expect that it should run before the end of the year.
From Wale Wale, Ilyas Sutanko, Joy News.
Break. When we come, we'll bring you business.
Hello, good afternoon. Time now for business. I am Beverly Broom. Government will end the year missing out on its single-digit inflation rate target. This because the latest IMF Economic Outlook report is casting doubts about the government hitting its 8% inflation target. George Wiafe has the rest of the story.
IMF in the report is projecting that government would end the year with an inflation rate of 16.3%. This is far higher than its own 8% that it was hoping to achieve by the end of this year. If this report is anything to go by, then it will be the second time in 2 years that government is missing out on its end-of-year inflation rate target. It is not clear for now what is influencing the IMF's projection for the economy. The forecast may back claims that the current price hikes for foodstuffs on the market will not be ending anytime soon, with some analysts projecting that the rate will only start coming down in the last quarter of this year. March inflation rate currently stands at 19.4%, so there's a likelihood that we will continue to witness some spikes in terms of the general price levels going up before reducing marginally in the last 3 months of this year. The projection could be in line with a similar report by the Economic Intelligence Unit, which is also noted that government will not meet its 8% inflation rate target for this year. But the question on the minds of some analysts is that, will this raise some credibility issues for government when it comes to its end-of-year macroeconomic targets outlined in the budget? This is because in 2021, it ended that year without achieving its single-digit inflation rate target.
Economist Dr. Edu Owusu-Sarkodie says the World Bank's forecast of 5.5% expansion in the economy in 2015 should reflect in job creation. Speaking to Joy Business, he asked the government to leverage the agri sector as a key driver of the country's growth.
Everything seems to be hinged on the increase in commodity prices, and I want to see the drivers of growth to be from areas that can create jobs, because you can grow your GDP, and if little employment is created, then you haven't done much. So the areas that can create jobs, we know the agri sector, the industrial sector. That is why I want to see the agri and the industrial sector taking a greater share of GDP. Then if the source of growth is from these two areas, and also the digital space, then we are highly confident that there will be better lives ahead. So I want to relate the source of growth to employment generation. For me, that is the most critical, that's the most important. And according to the World Bank, they also talked about the debt sustainability issues confronting the country. And we have talked about the borrowings by government during COVID and all that, but we also know by the data that before COVID, the public debt was also on the rise. The interest payment was around 33% of revenue. It was the second or the third highest in the world at that time. So the public debt has been a challenge as a country. We have been growing our public debt more than growing our domestic revenue. In other words, since we finished the HIPPY relief initiative in 2006, the growth rate of revenue has outpaced the growth rate of borrowing.
Ghana's moderate to high exposure to imports of wheat, edible oils and fertilizer from Russia triggered increases in prices of foodstuffs and certain commodities on the market. According to the latest World Bank Africa Pulse report, Ghana imports about 33% of wheat and a little above 20% of fertilizers from Russia, ranking it among African economies with high dependence on European countries. Charles Nixon-Yeboah has the rest of the story.
The impact of the Russia-Ukraine conflict on commodity prices has compounded existing challenges in global food markets, including increasing prices and tightening supplies due to the COVID-19 pandemic, among others. This has already pushed inflation rate high to 19.4% in March this year, with food inflation exceeding 24%. The World Bank said Ghana, together with Kenya, Mali and Nigeria, have moderate to high exposure to wheat imports from Russia. Again, the country, together with other African countries, including Cote d'Ivoire, have moderate to high exposure of edible oils and fertilizers from Ukraine and Russia. It further explained that the impact of the rising global commodity prices on African countries' terms of trade is uncertain. It, however, added that Ghana and many oil importers in the region will benefit from the rally in global prices for industrial metals.
That's all for business. For more business stories, kindly log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Up next is sports.
Let's do sports now. On Joy News today, I am Muftau Nabila Abla. The Ghana Football Association say it will sanction anyone found culpable of maligning the sanctity of their products. The Secretary General of the Association, Prosper Harrison Ado, the GFA is determined to protect the integrity of their competitions.
Yeah, the thing is that you cannot be in association football and then as and when you conveniently kind of sidestep the stretches. So in Ghana and in our association football, we have stretches for dealing with referees you feel are incompetent, or referees you feel perform below par or took some decision that you feel in your estimation are not right. We are one of the countries where we have a formal process, where there's a formal form given to all the clubs that you can fill, and then you complain. We have the match complaint form, and so all the clubs have it. And so the rules are there. When you make allegations that you cannot substantiate, the rules will ring you in. And so all those who have made comments about referees will be charged. In fact, some have been charged already. It's just that maybe the media are not in the know. So let me be clear. Dr. Nyawok Tomaklo, did I say, a very big pillar will be charged. Mr. Akambi will be charged. The coach of the, or have been charged already, the coach of Bechem, he's been charged in a previous interview. He will be charged again, and any other person, because the formal process is there and the rules are clear. And some of the things that people say without proof sometimes confront us in the marketing room when discussions are being done about marketing. And so once the rules are there, trust me, it will be enforced, irrespective of the person involved. So all those people, trust me, I said either they've been charged already or they will be charged.
The 7th edition of the annual Inter-Zongo Community Football Competition, dubbed the Sheikh Nuhu Butu Ramadan Cup, has been launched. My colleague Mubarak Haruna was there and came through with this report.
It's fasting time, when anything edible is not allowed. Yet the supporters union present, dominated by Muslims, still charged up the atmosphere with this. Since its inception in 2015, the Ramadan Cup has seen participating communities increase from 8 to 28, 4 more than last year's edition.
Between last week and the launch today, we had several communities from across the country asking us that they wanted to be part. We couldn't accommodate all of them, but due to the volume of the request, we had to increase it again from 24 last year to 28. So it's a competition. There is Zongo in every corner of the country. So our vision, by the grace of Allah, is to be able to one day do this event nationwide, so that we have representation from almost or all the 16 regions.
The name Ramadan suggests that the competition is associated with Muslims, but authorities here and officials have told me that Christians and other individuals of diverse beliefs are eligible to play once they are selected by their coaches. It is never about faith and religion. It is about Zongo communities and the youth. To the nitty-gritty of the launch, defending champions Kaswa were paired with Temazongo. Other fixtures include Nima, who face Takoradi, Adabraka come up against Mamobi, Yendi take on Ashaiman, and Medina meet Abeka. The competition commences on May 8 at the Fadama AstroTurf Park. 16-year-old Charles Apia, who earned a tag the Kaswa Messi, was adjudged player of the tournament in the 2021 edition. Sports Minister Mustafa Yusuf has urged the various teams to field more young players for a possible breakthrough.
Last year,
I was excited young talent, how young talent display, and I also saw players who should have probably been given opportunity to more young players to showcase their talent to the numerous scouts present there. In view of this, I want to make special appeal to all participating teams to consider giving more young talent in this team opportunity to showcase their talent. And this tournament is being watched by scouts and on national platform, and you never know who is watching.
Organizers have entreated all participants to portray good behavior to eliminate the negativity about Zongo. The Ramadan Cup is expected to bond and unite the Zongo communities across the country.
We have picked intel that Takoradi Zongo is likely to be eliminated and replaced by Salaga Zongo because Salaga Zongo has been pending for the last 2 years. West Takoradi Zongo just decided to join this year. So organizers are considering this decision. And this is how we wrap up sports here on Joy News Today with me, Muftau Nabila Abla. You can head on to myjoyonline.com and read some more sports stories. I'll be back at 2 p.m. with Sports Today.
Well, and that's how we wrap it all up today. There is more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Have a great afternoon.